Yeah.
My start is equivalent, is very fast, and then my finish is equivalent to Noah Lyles' finish. So he's not going to catch me.
Oblique Seville just sent a powerful message to the sprinting world, and Noah Lyles is right in the middle of it. The Jamaican star isn't holding back anymore, making it clear that this rivalry goes far beyond speed. It's personal. It's about pride, redemption, and proving who truly owns the track. With his latest comments, Seville has turned up the heat on one of the most intense battles in modern sprinting. For years, fans have debated who would rise as the next sprint king after Usain Bolt's retirement in 2017. Noah Lyles made a strong case with his dominance in the 200 meters and his explosive gold medal win in the 100 meters at the Paris 2024 Olympics. But just a year later, at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo, it was Oblique Seville who flipped the script and then dropped the mic.
Thompson's in the driving seat here, but watch Seville on the near side. It's ever so close. Seville from Thompson. Lyles at last.
In the biggest race of the year, Seville scorched the track with a personal best of 9.77 seconds to claim the gold in the men's 100 meters. Noah Lyles, the reigning Olympic champion, had to settle for bronze, finishing in 9.89. And Seville didn't just win. He made sure the world knew it was no fluke. In a post-race interview with Coach's Deck TV, Seville was asked about the growing rivalry with Lyles. His response was cold and calculated. Noah Lyles is going too hard to beat me. If you check the analysis of the race, my start is very fast, and then my finish is the equivalent to Noah Lyles' finish, so he's not going to catch me. I analyze myself as an athlete, I don't study other athletes, but I know about this sport. That's the kind of talk we haven't heard since the Bolt era, and coming from a sprinter who's been quietly grinding in the shadows for years, it hit hard. Rewind to just a year earlier. At the 2024 Paris Olympics, Lyles was the one standing atop the podium after running a blazing 9.79 seconds. Seville, meanwhile, faded to 8th place with a time of 9.91. Afterward, Lyles took a subtle jab, saying Seville was panicking in the back during the heats. At that point, the gap between them seemed clear. But Seville remembered, and he was plotting his revenge. Fast forward to Tokyo. Seville had a shaky start in the heats, barely qualifying for the semifinals, but when it mattered most, he locked in. In the semifinals, he silenced critics by running a confident 9.86, putting a finger to his lips as if to say, "Sush, I am back." And when the finals came, he exploded. 9.77, gold. A new world-leading time. After the race, Seville opened up about his motivation. "When I saw what Lyles said, I was like, damn, Jesus Christ, I want him to be in my semifinals. I was praying for it. I was praying to get his semifinals because I was just going to show him something. I like the rivalry. You know that I like it. That's not just competition, it's personal." And while Seville was basking in the glow of his first global 100-meter title, Lyles remained gracious. He took to X to post, "I got nothing but the joy of the Lord in my heart. It has been a very challenging year. Being able to give my all on the race that meant the most is all I can ask for." Lyles went on to win the 200-meter final with a time of 19.52, securing his 4th straight world title in that event. But in the 100 meters, the balance has shifted. Oblique Seville, now 24, has quietly built a resume that demands respect. Coached by the legendary Glenn Mills at Racers Track Club, the same coach who molded Usain Bolt, Seville has been on a steady climb. He broke through in 2019 with golds at the Carifta Games and silver at the Pan Am U20 Championships. He made finals in both the 2022 and 2023 World Championships, finishing 4th both times. That back-to-back heartbreak in global finals might have broken some athletes, but for Seville, it was fuel. He trained harder, refined his mechanics, and came back stronger. In 2024, he dropped his 200-meter best to 19.96 in Atlanta and 20.13 in Miramar. He also won the Racers Grand Prix in Kingston, defeating Lyles with a then world-leading 9.82 seconds. Then came 2025, his breakout year. At the Jamaican Championships, he clocked 9.83 to finish 2nd behind Keishane Thompson, showing his form was peaking. A month later at the London Athletics meet, part of the Diamond League, Seville again bested Lyles and Letsail Tobogo with a 9.86 performance. That same dominance continued in Lausanne, where in wet conditions, he still managed to run 9.87, while the rest of the field couldn't even break 10 seconds. His performances weren't one-offs, they were proof of consistency under pressure. And while Lyles is known for his explosive top-end speed and charisma, Seville is the quiet storm, reserved, focused, and deadly accurate when the gun goes off. It's also worth noting that Seville's rise hasn't come easy. He had to overcome the COVID-19 disruption in 2020, then bounce back from early career injuries. His progression has been methodical. From Calabar High School to the world stage, he's always had the physical tools. What's changed is his mental edge. He's more confident, more tactical, and he no longer sees Lyles or any other competitor as unbeatable. In fact, Seville now relishes the challenge. So everyone knows that when I got into the semifinals, I said, if I get this good start, I know I can run it like 60% of the race and take it on from there easily. So I did that in the semifinals, he explained. That moment wasn't just about advancing. It was about sending a message. And send a message he did. Fans are already calling the Seville-Lyles dynamic the most exciting rivalry since Bolt and Gatlin. But this one has more parity. Lyles is a proven champion in the 200 meters, while Seville now rules the 100 meters. Their styles are different. Lyles thrives off showmanship and late race surges. Seville is about execution, explosiveness, and quiet dominance. Beyond the rivalry, Seville's emergence is reigniting Jamaica's dominance in sprinting. After Bolt's retirement, there was a noticeable dip in Jamaican male sprinting. But with Seville's rise and Kishane Thompson pushing him closely, the island nation is once again a powerhouse. This new wave of talent isn't just filling a void, it's redefining the sprint scene. Meanwhile, Lyles is still Lyles, hungry, charismatic, and supremely gifted. He continues to push boundaries and his mental toughness is second to none. But now, he faces a challenger who not only wants to beat him, but believes he already has the formula to keep doing it. What happens next is anyone's guess. The 2027 World Championships are shaping up to be another showdown, and the LA 2028 Olympics could be the decider in what's already a classic sprint rivalry. Will Lyles reclaim the 100-meter title? Or will Seville continue his takeover? Whatever happens, one thing is certain. The era of one-man domination is over. We're now in the age of rivalry-fueled greatness, and at the center of it are two men pushing each other beyond their limits. Seville has dropped the bombshell. He's no longer chasing. He's leading. This is more than a sprint. It's a statement. And Oblique Seville has just made his loudest one yet. This 7-year-old kid has been breaking records everywhere, and everyone's been asking the same question. Where will we see him race next? Well, we finally have our answer, and it's going to be huge. Gout Gout just told the world he's going to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, and trust me, this is a big deal. But here's where it gets interesting. Everyone thought Gout would skip the Commonwealth Games. Why? Because the dates are tricky. The Commonwealth Games run from July 23rd to August 2nd in 2026, and right after that, from August 5th to 9th, there's the World Junior Championships in the United States. That's the big one for young athletes. That's where Usain Bolt made his name back in 2002. So people figured Gout would pick one. You can't do both, right? Wrong. Gout's manager, James Templeton, just dropped the news. He said, "We are planning that Gout will be available to run an event in Glasgow before going on to the World Juniors in Eugene. Gout will race the 100 meters at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Then he'll hop on a plane to the United States and run the 200 meters at the World Juniors. 2 big races, 2 different countries, all in 1 week. That's insane. But that's Gout Gout. Let me tell you a bit more about this kid because his story is pretty amazing. Gout was born in Ipswich, Australia. His parents came from South Sudan back in 2005 looking for a better life, and they found it. Gout grew up loving video games. He played Fortnite, Minecraft, and Zelda. He says he was a hard gamer before he was a track athlete, but somewhere along the way he found running, and he was really, really good at it. When he was just 14 years old, he ran the 100 meters in 10.57 seconds. That's crazy fast for a kid that young. People started paying attention. Then, last year at the World Under-20 Championships, he ran the 200 meters in 20.6 seconds. You know what's wild about that? That's faster than Usain Bolt ran when he was 15. Bolt ran 20.61, Gout beat him by 0.01 seconds. And it gets better. In December 2024, Gout broke an Australian record that had been standing since 1968. That's 56 years. The record belonged to Peter Norman, who got a silver medal at the Olympics. His time was 20.06 seconds. Gout ran 20.04 seconds. New record. But he wasn't done. This year, in June, he went to the Czech Republic for a race in a place called Ostrava, and he ran even faster. He clocked 20.02 seconds, another new Australian record, and get this, that time makes him the 6th fastest under 2.0 athlete in history. Let that sink in. 6th fastest ever for someone under 20 years old. People started calling him the next Usain Bolt. Videos of his races went viral, millions of views. Everyone wanted to know about this kid from Australia who runs like the wind. So when the World Athletics Championships came to Tokyo this year, everyone was excited. This would be Gout's first big race against the best runners in the world, not just kids his age, the best of the best. Before the race, Gout did a big media day with Adidas. They're his sponsor. There were over 24 journalists there, TV crews, cameras everywhere, and Gout walked out looking a little nervous. He put his hand in his pocket and gave this awkward smile. The host even said, "It's a long walk," just to help him relax. But once he started talking, you could see why people love this kid. He's humble, he's funny, he's just a regular teenager who happens to be incredibly fast. He told everyone he still shares a room with his older brother. He said his favorite food is burgers. Well, first he said pizza, then changed his mind and said burgers. His favorite drink? Peach iced tea. When someone asked what irritates him, he couldn't think of anything. Finally, he just said, probably exams. Because yeah, he's still in school. He's in year 12. That's like being a senior in high school. He has big exams coming up. And he's trying to balance being a world-class athlete with being a normal student. He said, after Worlds, I'm heading back to school. I have 2 weeks holiday, which is great, and after that I'm back into studies, but I have exams coming up and those are really important. At the media day, Gout talked about racing at the World Championships. He said, I have a few butterflies, but I've done the work to be here. It's about going out there and having a little bit of fun. I want to focus on being the best I can and enjoy my first experience at this level. He also said, I've earned my place to be here. Obviously, these athletes are stronger, bigger, older, more experienced, but I know that I have the ability to go out there and do my thing. At the end of the day, we're all running 200 meters, and regardless of how old you are, when you stop on that line, it's all about who's fastest. That's the confidence right there. So, the race happened. Gout ran in the heats first and finished with a time of 20.23 seconds. Pretty good. He made it to the semifinals. But in the semis, things didn't go as planned. He finished 4th with a time of 20.36 seconds. That wasn't fast enough to make the final. He was disappointed, but he kept it positive. He told reporters, "It was a great race. Being able to come out here in a semifinal and do my thing is pretty incredible. I looked back at what I did in the heat and tried to fix it for the semifinal, and that's exactly what I did. Obviously, the conditions weren't too good with the rain coming earlier, but I'm happy to be here and just excited." Even though he didn't make the final, his time of 20.36 seconds was still faster than Usain Bolt's first World Championships back in 2005. Bolt ran 20.68 seconds in Helsinki. So yeah, Gout is still doing pretty well for a 17-year-old. Now, let's talk about the Commonwealth Games. This is where things get really exciting. The Commonwealth Games are like the Olympics, but only for countries that were part of the British Commonwealth. Australia, England, Canada, Jamaica, Kenya, and a bunch of others. It's a big deal. The 2026 Games were almost cancelled. The Australian state of Victoria was supposed to host them, but they pulled out. Then Glasgow, Scotland stepped up and said they'd do it. But they had to make some changes to save money. They cut the number of sports from 19 down to 10. No more cricket, no more hockey, no more rugby sevens or diving. But the good news? All the running events are still there. And swimming, and gymnastics, boxing, netball, and a few others. There will be about 3,000 athletes competing for 215 gold medals over 10 days, and Gout Gout will be one of them. The men's 200-meter final is scheduled for Friday, July 31st. That's Gout's favorite race. He calls it his pet event. And it's going to be at a place called Scotstoun Stadium in Glasgow. The men's 100-meter final is on Tuesday, July 28th. That's the race Gout plans to run at the Commonwealth Games. When the Australian team heard the news, they were thrilled. Petria Thomas is the chef de mission for Australia. That means she's in charge of the whole team. She said, It's very exciting when our best athletes publicly announce their intention to be at the Games. There is, of course, qualification processes that all of our athletes will need to go through. A lot can happen in the year leading into a Games. It's really exciting that the athletes are saying they want to compete in the Games, and we're looking forward to having our best athletes possible on our team ready to go in a year's time. And Australia really wants Gout there. They have a good reason. Australia has topped the medal table at 8 of the last 9 Commonwealth Games going back to 1990. They want to do it again in Glasgow. And having their fastest young sprinter there, that's a huge help.
The problem that he has, he's saying, hey, I want my own shoe. Why don't I have my own shoe? Because you can't show value because you're in an event that only takes place every 4 years.
Times Square was already buzzing, but when Noah Lyles took the stage at the Athlos NYC event, everything stopped. Months earlier, he had criticized Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track, a league facing serious debt problems. Now, the Olympic champion was standing front and center. What changed? The track world was left in disbelief. Noah Lyles appeared at the Athlos NYC 2025 event in Times Square on Thursday, the 9th of October 2025. Athlos' official Instagram posted a video showing Lyles marking his presence with fiancée Janelle Bromfield. The 200-meter world champion acknowledged Athlos' post by resharing it on his own Instagram story. The appearance came months after Lyles publicly expressed skepticism about Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track. Grand Slam track faces $19 million in total liabilities, including $11 million owed to athletes and $8 million owed to vendors. The debt stems from unpaid appearance fees and prize money from earlier events, including the canceled Los Angeles meet. Michael Johnson's league held 3 meets in 2,025 inches, Kingston, Miami, and Philadelphia, before canceling its season-ending event in Los Angeles. The cancellation occurred in June due to financial strain. The league cited low stadium attendance, declining viewership, and rising operational costs as primary factors. A key investor withdrew an 8-figure commitment shortly after the April debut in Kingston, Jamaica. Johnson admitted to Front Office Sports, "That was a huge blow to us. Caused a major cash flow issue for us, put us in a difficult position, put our athletes in a difficult position." The investor reportedly signed a term sheet before reversing course days after attending the Kingston meet. The investor told Grand Slam Track they plan to invest their money elsewhere. Johnson launched the league in 2024, claiming $30 million in promised funding. The league never accessed that full amount. Lyles had declined to join Grand Slam Track despite approaches from the league. Back in March 2025, he revealed his concerns. "I would love nothing more than for this to be successful, because if it does, the amount of benefits it would provide, this could be a way for athletes to not have to only rely on world championships, because you could potentially be making more money consistently throughout the year," Lyles stated. But he added crucial doubts. Lyles said, "Money is not the thing that's going to drive me every time. Who are your outside sponsors? Who are your non-track and field sponsors? I haven't even heard a block sponsor." From interviews to podcast appearances, Lyles repeated one demand. If GST wanted to thrive, it needed big names, big stars, big sponsors. That reasoning explained why he didn't sign on. Athlos, founded by Reddit co-founder and Serena Williams' husband Alexis Ohanian, held its second annual event in October 2025. The women-only track meet took place at Icon Stadium in New York on October 10, with the Times Square long jump event occurring the day before. Olympic and world champion Tara Davis Woodhall won the Times Square long jump competition with a mark of 6.81 meters. The event brought elite track and field to one of the world's busiest landmarks. Sha'Carri Richardson and Melissa Jefferson Wooden also attended the Times Square spectacle. Richardson serves as an advisor owner for Athlos 2026, along with Davis Woodhall and Gabby Thomas. The 2026 season will operate in a league format. Richardson attended both days of the event, participating in meet-and-greet sessions with fans at the stadium. Athlos continues to expand while Grand Slam Track struggles to survive. The contrast became clear when Lyles chose to appear at Athlos despite his earlier GST skepticism. The move suggested he has picked sides in what observers call the Track League War. Grand Slam Track promised $100,000 prizes for event group winners at each meet. The amount dwarfed existing purses on the traditional Diamond League circuit. Athletes signed up expecting unprecedented compensation. Instead, they waited months for payment. Olympic medalist Gabby Thomas commented on a Grand Slam Track TikTok post, "PLS pay me." The simple plea captured widespread frustration among athletes still awaiting compensation for performances in Kingston, Philadelphia, or Miami.